Hey everyone, Jay here for RPG DIY, your channel for all things tabletop gaming. Free League has sent me their Dragonbane Box Set, along with the GM screen. And what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at these today. Okay, so we have the GM screen for Dragonbane and the box set. Now, full disclosure, Free League sent me these for free, but there is no other compensation forthcoming. So, let's start with the screen itself. Now, I've opened the box, kind of looked at what's in there, but I haven't opened this yet. So let's take a look. Alright, so, little cover sheet here. So, it looks like it's a three-fold, where some are a four-fold. You've got a list of typical NPCs, some NPCs and skills, initiative, attributes. This is all for NPCs here. Here you have a list of the available actions while you're playing, how to measure time, your free actions, your demon roll in melee and in ranged combat. And I'll get into a little bit more of the rules as we go, but basically this is a roll under system using a d20 plus your skill bonuses. So if you have a 14, you're going to want to roll a 14 or under versus over 14 on a 20-sided die. Roll of a 1, which in normal d20 is a critical failure. In this, it's a critical success, so obviously rolling a natural 20 is a critical failure in this game. Over here, you have a fear table, leaving your adventure site, and some mishaps you can roll on a d12. And on this side, very nice artwork. I really like Free League's artwork in most of their books. So that is the GM screen. Now we're going to take a look at the box set. All right. So you have some dice. You've got cards, adventure cards, 1 through 10 numbered cards for initiative, and I'll go into that a little bit. And also treasure cards. Here's a catalog of the different games that they offer. I advise you go to their website, and I'll put that in the description so you can see all the different games they have. Not all of them run on the same engine as this. Here you have some standee bases, because this comes with cardboard two-dimensional representations of characters and monsters. So we'll put those here. Okay, to start with, you've got this little kind of a getting started thing, and it explains a little bit about the game. Alright, so looks like the first book here. These are the Dragonbane rules. And the quality of the cover is very good. It's full color with some of those really nifty illustrations. One thing you'll notice that one of the races that's way different than anything I've ever seen is the mallard race, where you can play essentially a duck. You don't have to be a scholar as in here, but these are some examples of the different jobs. Here's an example of your different races. So you have, they call them kin here, not races or ancestries. So you have humans, halflings, dwarves, elf, mallard, and wolfkin, which is also kind of a a unique one to have. And then they have the list of professions. You've got an artisan, bard, fighter, hunter, which I'm guessing is kind of like a ranger, a knight, and a mage, mariner, and a merchant, scholar, and thief. So here's where you figure out your name, your attributes, your devised ratings, and your skills. I'm not going to go into the whole thing because there's a few videos out there already that do, including some on the Free League channel. So one thing they do have that's similar to 5e is instead of advantage and disadvantage, they have boons and banes. Pretty much the same thing. But instead of trying to take the highest when you have a boon, you take the lowest, and vice versa. So here's a list of skills. This is also a skill-based system, not a level-based system. And I'll show you when we get to the character sheets what I'm talking about. Here's the magic, your gear, a bestiary. There aren't tons of monsters in here, but the rules are easy enough to where you could craft your own. You could take, ideas from other systems and just put Dragonbane stats on them. All right, so that's the first book, just the main rules. Next, you have adventures, and in this one, they give you a list of adventures. Now, here's a map of the realm. And there's a larger map, a full fold-out map, which I'll show you in a few of this. And you can start in any of these locations. So they give you a history of the empire. And then as you go through, there's variations of different modules, essentially. Adventures you can go through that all have maps. They have some of the NPCs you'll run into. And there's quite a few in here to get you started. Okay, you also have Alone in Deepfall Breach. Well, this is a solo adventure that you can play using especially the cards. This is a good way to get familiar with the game before you want to run it. So I also played this at Gen Con this year. I got to play one of the adventures in this book here, and it was a lot of fun. I actually played the Mallard just because it was so out there. I'm like, I'm going to play something way different than normal. And it was a lot of fun. I had a good time. It plays very smoothly. It doesn't sound like it does when you're reading the rules, but it plays super smooth. So essentially, I'm going to go over some of the changes that are different, or things that are different than your average, say, 5e or D20 system. So you use cards numbered 1 through 10. You don't have to use these. You can use regular playing cards. Just pick a suit, and then it's 1 through 10. And that's how you do initiative, lowest to highest. 1 goes first, 2nd goes second, and so forth. Like I said before, it's a roll under system. And it's a skill-based system. And here's the map, and I'll open that in a second. I want to show you, based on that the skill-based system. Here's a fold-out, dual-sided little battle sheet that you can use while gaming. So here's what I mean. So here's one of the it comes with some pre-generated characters. So here's a kind of a description and a picture. But on the back side, you can see that here's the list of the skills right here. And there's different numbers depending on what, a lot of them are derived statistics as well from up here. So for instance, here's your name and your kin. Here's your stats. Here's some of your derived statistics in here. And your skills, the way this works is when you use one of these skills, for instance, when you're fighting and you have knives, you're going to use your knife skill. And so for this gal right here, we're looking at a 14. So you want to roll 14 or under when you're making an attack with your knives. If you use that skill, you put a check mark by it. Now, if you use it more than once, you don't put more than one check mark. Just put one check mark by it. And so all the skills you use during that game, put a check mark by. When the session is over, before the next session, you roll, and if you roll higher than your skill, you can bump that skill up by 1 point. It's very similar to the Chaosium setup, like the basic role play and Call of Cthulhu, that also uses skill-based, and it's the same thing. You put a check mark next to the skill you use, and in that game, since you're rolling percentages, you try to roll over whatever the percentage is of the skill, and then you get to bump it up a percentage. So that's something also different. Even though this looks very much like 5e, it's skill-based, not level-based, which I really like. Because the better you get at certain skills, the more confidence you can have using them, the more of an idea how often you're going to actually succeed. With a D20 system, it swings so wide, it's really a crapshoot no matter what. When you have a percentage, or at least a number that you're looking at to roll under, you know what you have. Mainly in the percentage based, but this one has the same concept. So here's a look at one of the pre-made character sheets. And you get a bunch of them in here. So, and you get some blank ones too. And here's some of the blank ones right here. Now you can go online and find them, or you can just, make copies of these instead of using them. You get quite a few actually. Okay. And these are the cardboard counters that you get, and you've got some monsters here, and on this one you've got some monsters, but you also have some of the heroes, so you can play, and that's what these are for. These are the bases. All right, let's take a quick look at the map. The quality of this map, it's got almost a fabric-like feel to it. It's not like just paper. This is really thick. And so here's the Misty Vale. A lot of, at least some of the adventures I saw take place, it starts here in Outskirts, and then you journey throughout. And this is the other side, and this is a list of the backers for the Kickstarter. Quite a few. So they obviously had no problem getting this funded. All right, so we're going to look at the dice real quick. I really like these dice, I like the colors. So they're all pretty standard. In this set, you get 2 20s, 4 6s, a 10, an 8, a 4, and a 12. You don't need percentile in this, that's why you only get the 110. Now on the 20s, they've done something pretty clever. Let's see if I can get this thing to focus correctly. So if you look, on the 1, it's a dragon, which is what you call when you roll a critical success. You call it a dragon. So the 1 has actually been made into a dragon by adding wings. And on the opposite side, when you roll a demon, or a nat 20, or a critical failure, this 20 actually has a stylized horns on it to make it look kind of like a demon, which I really like. So those are the dice. And then I haven't opened these cards yet, so you and I are both getting a first look here. All right. So treasure cards, and I'm guessing the first 10 of this pack. So here's the initiative cards. So we'll start with those. So on the one side you have the sword, and here you have the initiative. And it tells you what to do. It says right here the number, decide your turn order, draw the initiative card for each round. That's another thing. You collect the cards at the end of the round, shuffle them, and then hand them out again, so the initiative changes each round. All right. And what you do is everybody puts their initiative card up when you first start the round, and when you're done, you do that. That way you know who's got what left, which I think is a pretty cool system. It's very similar, or at least it reminds me of Savage Worlds, which does the same thing. It uses playing cards for initiative. So, those are your initiative cards. Now these I haven't delved into yet. So, these are treasure cards. Oh, wait a minute. So we got treasure, and then you have improvised weapons. Boiling cauldron. Throw the boiling water in a cone that is 4 meters in both length and width. Now, to be honest, I'm not positive what these cards are used for in the game, because these did not come up when I played it. Ours was a pretty straightforward adventure. The only cards we actually used were the initiative cards. But I'm guessing when you say I'm going to get a weapon, I'm going to pick something up, maybe you draw a card and this is what you pick up. I haven't delved into the rules that much. Again, many other videos out there that did. I just want to show you what you're getting with this box set. So here's some treasure cards. And so I guess you could definitely have people just draw. Instead of you deciding what the treasure is, you can just shuffle these, and these are the random things that people find. Copper, silver coins, gold coins. Mainly, like you could just have a random set, and plus whatever the actual adventure states that you find. And then we have these. Alright, adventure cards. Oh, more treasure cards. Okay, cool. Let's see. Alright, so these are all treasure cards. So that had mainly coins. Oh, I see. So you have just the deck gets larger. They just separated them into two equally tall decks. So gold coins, a gold ring, gemstone, and on the gemstone it says roll d6 to let's see, what does it say? Okay, you roll a d6. So 1, it's just made of glass. 2, it's crystal. 3, it's an emerald, and so forth. So you can, by rolling randomly, you will decide what type of gemstone it is. Silver brooch, clothing, ranged weapon, and you can also hand these to the person once they find them. That way they can keep track without necessarily writing everything down. So you have those. We'll go ahead and put the treasure cards here. Adventure cards. Let's see what these are. Ritter Mount. So you can draw. These all have listings of places on the map. So you can draw these to decide where you're going to start your adventure. That's a pretty cool idea. Now, if you do that, well, let's get the adventure in the book itself that has all the details, but kind of means you have to read the whole book first, because if you don't know what adventure they're going to pick, you want to make sure that you know all of them at least superficially so you can run them correctly. All right, that is a kind of a quick go-through of what's in the box set. You can also find, here's on the back, it gives you a kind of a quick picture and layout of what's in there. And if you have any questions, put them in the comments below. Once again, Free League has outdone themselves with the quality of their products. Their books, their accessories are all top quality. I have yet to find fault with any of them. So, give me your opinions, and if you've played any of Free League's games, down below in the comments, and I will put everything you need to get this down in the description. And until we meet again, may you always roll with advantage.